Taxpayers will have to shell out even more money for the school internet debacle than first thought.
And what can you expect when your children with the internet in their schools when they head back this fall? It's the hot topic I discussed with Idaho Education News reporter Kevin Richard in tonight's Making the Grade. Kevin's here for Making the Grade. Kevin, we have a lot to talk about with the Idaho Education Network. Once again, the failed broadband internet schools program is costing taxpayers money. Tell us what you found out.
Well, the costs are going up, and there have been new revelations along the way. The new revelations in terms of the costs, Judge Patrick Owen, he's the district judge who threw out the contract for this project in the first place. He awarded the attorneys for Syringa Networks, and that's the company that sued to get the contract overturned. They were
successfully.
Right. They were the contractor that won in court. Owen is saying that the state owes Syringa $930,000 in legal fees.
Chunk of change.
Now the state is protesting that, and that's going through the appeals process, but that's a potentially large expense that's hanging out there. We now know, and I reported on this today, that the state has spent over $1 million on its outside counsel on this case. They hired this case out to a Boise law firm. Those bills are now in excess of $1 million, and they continue to rise.
Okay, so some quick math here to bring everybody up to speed. We're talking about $2 million in legal fees that taxpayers are going to have to end up shelling out because of a failed internet schools program. And it's still a mess because now we have contractors who are possibly suing the state for back pay with millions out there as well. When does this stop?
Well, I don't know when it stops, but the issue with the contractors in the back pay, that's a new development on that. Last week, the Associated Press broke this story that the state has not responded to the claims that have been made by those companies. And those are the companies that got a share of the contract. They're saying they're owed back payments because the contract was put on hold and the payments were stopped. That's at least $6 million that they're claiming. It hasn't gone to court yet. The contractors would still have to file a lawsuit, but now they're free to do that because the state didn't respond to the initial claim. So that remains to be seen how that's going to play out. But this is going to be a legal and procedural process for a long, long time. What's
happening next week? The legislature, at least a committee, is getting together to try and sort out this mess.
Yes. Now, after 2 years of kind of having to bail this project out and keep broadband in the schools, legislature put together a committee of 10 lawmakers, and they're going to start from the beginning. They meet on Tuesday, and they're going to spend all day, and it's going to be kind of broadband 101. They're going to talk about what they've been doing in the schools, how it's working. They're going to hear from, I think, 4 school districts are going to give presentations. They're going to hear from the Department of Education and the administration department that ran this project. They're going to learn about E-rate, and that's the funding mechanism that's caused a lot of these problems.
From the feds.
They're right, from the feds. So the committee is really starting from ground zero, just to try to learn what's going on with this, and then I think they'll try to figure out what they try to do next.
All right, let's make this personal for parents, for students who are headed back to school in the next month. What are they going to see when it comes to the internet in their schools?
Well, I think you're going to see high-speed internet still in the schools. The state is still paying for this. The quandary for some districts is that it's tougher in some towns and some districts to go out and procure your own high-speed internet, to find a vendor, to cut a contract. It's not as hard in Boise or Meridian because you've got multiple vendors. Small-town Idaho, that's a little bit more of a complicated situation. So when the legislature starts to try to unravel this whole mess, that may be one of the things they have to figure out. What works for a school district in Boise or Meridian or Nampa may not work in a small town like a Council or Cambridge. So we'll see. A lot still to be sorted out in this thing.
Idaho Education News writing about this extensively on their website, idahoednews.org. Kevin and I have been following the story from the beginning, including a one-on-one interview with Governor Otter last January. We will continue to be on top of the Idaho Education Network for you. Kevin, thanks for being here.
Thank you.